Hi, I'm Kyle with Oak and Rose Co. Today, we're going to make a beautiful Mother's Day or spring arrangement. What we're going to use is one of our cubes. We got this cube from Accent Decor. This is called the Laura Cube. It's about 5 by 5 and it comes in a metallic black. But what we did to make sure that it's more bright for Mother's Day is go ahead and spray paint it white because nobody wants a black vase for Mother's Day. So what we're going to use is we have some beautiful California stock. That's going to kind of fill and give our arrangement some volume. We have some beautiful David Austin garden roses, which are just so fragrant. Love those. And those are going to act as our focal flower. We have some beautiful pink carnations to give us some pops of pink throughout the arrangement. These are just really nice after you open them up. And then we also have some beautiful organ-grown tulips. And this gives a nice yellow pink to the arrangement. We also have some spray roses and a little leptoserum, which we're going to use later on within our arrangement. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my stock to start out with, and we're going to radiate it out from a central binding point within the arrangement, which is going to be the focal piece of our arrangement, which are those beautiful David Austin garden roses. So to get started, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place some stock kind of towards the center because we don't want it to go out too far. And I'm just going to place about 4 to 5 of these, just depending on how big your stock is. And you can see here I have some pretty large stock, so I might only need 4. Go ahead and cut this at an angle. And then this is a little out there, there we go. I think I'm only going to use 4 for now and see what I need. So I'm cutting this at a 45-degree angle, which is going to help our flower hydrate a little bit more. And also, it adds a really nice punch into the foam, which is going to give us an easy puncture line. So I'm just going to take off some of the foliage because we don't want that foliage going into the foam. Might stop some of the flower from getting the water that it needs. So we'll go ahead and start with that. And this is just kind of creating some volume to the arrangement, which we're going to fill in here. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my focal flowers, and I'm going to take my biggest one, which I think is this one. This one's really pretty. And I'm just going to trim this down. And we're going to find a place to start the line, the focal flower line. So I'm just going to kind of take my focal flowers across the arrangement. So I think since I have a big gap right here, we'll go ahead and start here. And actually, I'm just going to move this piece of stock over because it is bothering me that it was a little bit out. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to start by maybe trimming this down just a little bit more and pushing that closer into the arrangement there. So that adds a really nice focal start to our flower. Then I'm going to take either a medium or a small one. At this point it really doesn't matter because either one's going to look beautiful in the arrangement. So let's take this one because I think this one's going to work the best. Just going to remove those leaves, and we're going to place this in the center of our arrangement, just a little bit lower than or a little bit higher than the first one. And that gives a nice line. Just kind of open that up, just lightly dust it with your fingers, just like this. This one's a little tighter, so I don't want to break the petals on the rose, but I do want to just open it up and remove some of those drier petals there. So we're just going to take this one and we're going to bring back our line right here. And it's kind of a little bit of a swirl, which is fine, whatever works for your arrangement. And we're just going to push that there. So that's really creating a nice focal point there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tulips. And I kind of like the tulips to kind of, again, come from that central binding point that we're creating in the arrangement. So go ahead and trim any of those unnecessary leaves. Leave these just a little bit longer. You really want to make sure you're cutting these at a 45-degree angle. And take some of the open spots. And these are double feathered tulips, so these are just beautiful. I'm just going to kind of bend it with my fingers just like that, just to give it the direction that I want it to grow in, because tulips will grow in your arrangement, and most of the time they'll grow towards the sunlight, so you do want to keep these tulips out of the sun. And we'll just put this one here. And just go ahead and, it might seem like it's a little far out, but once we start filling the arrangement in, it's gonna look beautiful. And you can always tuck them back in if you need to. So again, just taking, didn't cut that one necessarily too strong on a 45-degree angle. And I don't want it to take away from our focal flower. So I'm just gonna kind of place it right next to it on that side. And then I'm gonna go on the other side and create some symmetry and do the exact same thing there. I've made a few of these so far, and these are just turning out really beautiful. I think our clients will be quite happy with these arrangements. So the stock is really thick, this piece right here, so you just kind of have to work around it, which I would rather have full stock than light stock, so it works. Okay. Always good to work with a clean workspace because I feel like I designed better that way. And since I'm not using this stock for this right now, I am going to go ahead and put that just right back in some water, just to keep that nice and hydrated. So just go ahead and push and just trim it anyways so that it's hydrated and stand in the stem. Okay. So next you can either take your beautiful spray roses and start to create a line with your spray roses. And that's what I've been doing, is kind of creating a separate line where you can follow the spray roses. But they're really going to help fill your arrangement here. So you can see, look at how empty that is without these spray roses. And then I add these in right there, and it really fills that up quite nicely. So let's go ahead and add those in first, rather than the pink carnations. Because the pink carnations are going to give, we're going to need to look to where we should add those in based on where we need some more pink. So I'm just going to trim these down because I don't want to stick a long stem into the arrangement. You can easily maneuver these as much as you want. And you can see here, it's a little higher. I'm missing some space right here. So what I'm going to do is these smaller garden roses that I've trimmed, or spray roses that I've trimmed, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to tuck these in really close to the mechanics of the vase. And that's going to cover our mechanics. So just kind of manipulating the spray roses based on how I want them to go. And then I'll add the other one on the other side to create a balance and some symmetry. So let's take, this is a nice spray rose here. Just trim some of these down, and these are just beautiful. I really love these. They have a nice kind of pink and white tone to them, if you can see those right there. And again, I don't want them to outshine our garden roses because those are really the star here. Those are the star of the show. So I want to push those in tight and just kind of play around and see how you want these to fit. And they're opening up so nicely. Okay, perfect. So you can see it's kind of white. We do want to add some more color. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and find where we can add some nice color with these carnations. So I'm just going to take these and I'm just going to lightly feather them out. And look at how much more full that looks compared to something like this when we do that. So that, I think a lot of people don't like carnations, but they really need to, you know, expand them, play them out. So I'm going to put them right down here because I think we need some pink in this area. So that gives, look at that, a nice pop of pink, and we'll kind of add maybe a second one right above it. Right above here, just a little bit taller. Just something to fill that space. Beautiful. And I think we'll add one or two right down here. Create some symmetry. And again, feather out these carnations. And this is a little long. Don't want it too long. There we go. I'm just pushing that in a little lower than our garden rose because we don't want it to take away from the star, like I said. And we have one more that maybe we can add. So it's kind of full. But I'm thinking maybe we'll add it over there. Let's just play around and see. Okay. So I'm just going to continue to tuck and fill in and fill my mechanics in. Because you don't want any of your mechanics showing. So I'm just filling those in. Yeah, I think I'll add this last one over here. It'll give it some nice pink. And we already are so garden or spray rose heavy, so I just want to tuck that in and make sure it's in the phone. And see, they're really nice fillers there. Okay. So I didn't add any foliage into this, but what I did get is this Leposerum. I think that's how you say it. And we're just going to add that, and that gives it such a nice texture, doesn't it? It really does. So I think I'm going to start by adding some in over here, and this might be a little too much, so I think I might use this piece over there. And then, oops, you don't want to ruin our beautiful tulips or our stalk that's filling in our base. So let's just tuck this in here. So add some there. These might open up just a little bit more so you can see. Adding just some beautiful texture. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing on this side, because we do want to keep it symmetrical. And they have beautiful light little feathered flowers on there. Okay. So it is looking a little empty over in this corner, so I'm going to add a few more spray roses. My recipe actually calls for 7 stems of spray roses, but we got such beautiful spray roses that we didn't, and there's just so many that we really didn't need 7. So you can see that filled that spot up there, and we'll add just a few more in the center here. Just tucking those in. Actually, I'm gonna just move these because I want the lower one to be at the bottom. So I'm just tucking those in. That looks better there for me. And I think I might add a little bit more of this down here to break up some of this texture. And to give some of this area some texture. This is really missing some texture. And just put it around the spray roses there. And I'll do the same thing. Just kind of filling in some of those mechanics. Not able to find anywhere in the phone right now for this one, so let's see if it will fit down here. Oh, okay, there we go. I'm just adding a few more spray roses down the center line here. So I'm going to need to take a few more of these. You could actually just add this bunch in here. Just a little too tall. I'm just sticking that in. We don't want it to take away from the garden roses. But you can see that filled that area and that little spot in there. I think we're almost done here. Don't want it to be too overflown, so I'm just going in, checking, making sure we fill in all of our mechanics. So I noticed I have a little bit of emptiness on this side. So I think what I'll do is I'll take another carnation and we'll go ahead and put one more down there. I have so many flowers at my disposal here that I can just really play around with and fill. So anything, and look at how nice that gives a nice little, some volume there. And I'm actually not loving all these roses I added here. It's taking away from the beauty of the garden roses, so I think I'm gonna go back in and only put a few. So let's see if I can find a longer stemmed one. I think what I'll do is I'll actually use this stem, since it's longer. Just place that down here. And I think the issue I'm running into here is that it's getting too much. This was really taking away. So let's see if I push this in here. Okay, and I think that's looking really nice. Just gonna turn it. And I could probably add one more spray rose right in the center. Just need a long stem. Let me see. Actually, I think this one is probably the lightest, so I'm really gonna trim this one down as much as I can and push this one down there. I don't want it, and what I can do too is I can take the top of this off, and then it's just really filling that space, and that looks really nice there. There we go. So I'm just gonna find a place for this to fit in. And sometimes it's tricky when you're full here. You wanna make sure it's in the foam somewhere, because you don't want your flowers to arrive dead. And there you go. So I do like these textured pieces, but I think I need a few more. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and this is kind of what this last part is about, is you just wanna come down, figure out where you need to add some more texture, and go ahead and play around with it. So I feel like I need something down here. I'm just really adding some more, making sure it's in my mechanics. And then one more piece here to balance that side out. And I think we should be good. Grab my handy dandy shears here and take some of these little bulbs off. Flower bulb, these are so messy but so pretty. And I'm just gonna stick this right here next to my stalk and my carnation. Making sure it's in my mechanics, which it's not. And then there we go. Okay, perfect. And I think that looks quite nice. Maybe this just needs to be trimmed down. There we go. So there's our Mother's Day cube arrangement, or our spring arrangement, or just any arrangement at all. So you can see we have our beautiful focal garden roses. Those are really just beautiful here. I'm just gonna help some of those open up. And they'll open up on their own. We have our beautiful double feather tulips and our beautiful spray roses. And then what you can do is you can take a little flower stick, add this right into the center, just pop this down where you have a little spot. I suppose there we go. And then you add your card. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching Oak and Rose. Please subscribe to our channel if you liked what you saw. Like our Facebook, or follow us on Instagram.